Δύο αδελφές χωρισμένες. Η μία ακολουθεί τον νόμο, ενώ η άλλη το καθήκον της. Βασιλιάς ή πατέρας. Ένας γιος με μια σπασμένη καρδιά. Κανείς δεν μπορεί να ξεφύγει από την μοίρα του.
There is no happiness where there is no wisdom. No wisdom but in submission
to the gods.
Big words are always punished, and proud men in old age learn to be wise. There is no happiness where there is no wisdom. No wisdom but in submission
to the gods.
Big words are always punished, and proud men in old age learn to be wise. There is no happiness where there is no wisdom. No wisdom but in submission
to the gods.
Big words are always punished, and proud men in old age learn to be wise. There is no happiness where there is no wisdom. No wisdom but in submission
to the gods.
Big words are always punished, and proud men in old age learn to be wise. There is no happiness where there is no wisdom. No wisdom but in submission
to the gods.
Big words are always punished, and proud men in old age learn to be wise. There is no happiness where there is no wisdom. No wisdom but in submission
to the gods.
Big words are always punished, and proud men in old age learn to be wise. There is no happiness where there is no wisdom. No wisdom but in submission
to the gods.
Big words are always punished, and proud men in old age learn to be wise. There is no happiness where there is no wisdom. No wisdom but in submission
to the gods.
Big words are always punished, and proud men in old age learn to be wise. There is no happiness where there is no wisdom. No wisdom but in submission
to the gods.
Big words are always punished, and proud men in old age learn to be wise. There is no happiness where there is no wisdom. No wisdom but in submission
to the gods.
Big words are always punished, and proud men in old age learn to be wise.
Ismini, dear sister, you would think we had suffered enough. son Oedipus. I cannot imagine any grief that you and I have not gone through, and now they told you the new decree. Our good King Creon.
I have heard nothing. I know that 2 sisters lost 2 brothers, a double death in a single hour, and I heard that the Argive army fled in the night. But beyond this, nothing.
I thought so. And that's why I've asked you here. There's something we must do.
Why do you speak so strangely?
Listen, Miss Minnie. Creon buried our brother Eteocles with military honours. Gave him a soldier's funeral, and it was right that he should, but Apologise. He fought as bravely, and he died as miserably. They say that Creon has ordered that no one will bury him, that no one will mourn for him, that his body must lie in the fields. A sweet treasure for carrion birds to find as they search for food. That is what they say. And our good King Creon is coming here to announce it publicly in the square. And the penalty? Stoning to death. There it is. But now you can prove what you are, a true sister. Or a traitor to your family.
You're mad, Antigone. What could I possibly do?
You must decide whether you will help me in this or not.
I don't understand you helping what?
Miss Minnie, I'm going to bury him. Will you come?
Bury him? You just said that the new law forbids it.
He is my brother. He is your brother too.
But think of the danger. Think of what Creon might do.
Creon is not enough to stand in our way.
Sister. Oedipus died, everyone hating him, for what his own search brought to light. His eyes ripped out by his own fingers. And Jocasta died, his mother and his wife at once. She twisted the cords that strangled her life, and there were 2 brothers died, each killed by the other's sword. And we are left. But oh, Antigone, think how much more terrible than these our deaths should be if we should go against Creon and do what he is forbidden. We're only women. We can't fight with men, Antigone. The law is strong, and we must abide by the law. In this thing and in worse. I pray to the dead to forgive me, but I must yield to those in authority. And I think it's dangerous business to always be meddling.
That's what you think? I should not want you. Even if you asked to come. You've made your choice. You can be where you want to be. But as for me, I will bury the brother I love, and I shall be as dear to him in death as he was to me. It is the dead, not the living, who make the longest demands. We die forever! You can do what you want, since apparently the laws of God mean nothing to you.
They mean a great deal to me. But I have no strength to go against laws that were made for the public good.
An excuse, I suppose. But as for me, I will bury our brother.
I'm so afraid for you, Antigone.
You need not be. You have yourself to consider, after all.
But no one must hear of this. You must tell no one. I'll keep it a secret, I promise.
No. Tell it. Tell everyone. Think how they will hate you when they found out that you knew about this the whole time.
So fiery, you should be cold with fear, perhaps.
But I'm only doing what I must, what we must.
But can you do it? I say you cannot.
Very well. When my strength gives out, I shall do no more.
Impossible things shouldn't be tried at all, Antigone.
Go away, Ismene. Your words are better to me. Go on, then, leave me my foolish plan. I'm not afraid of the danger. If I'm to die, would not be the worst of deaths. A death without honour.
Go then if you must. You're so unwise. but you're a good friend to those who love you.
Now, the long blade of the sun,
lying,
level east to west,
touches with glory,
thieves of 7 gates,
open unlidded,
eye of golden day,
marching light,
across the eddy and rush of Darcy stream, striking the white shields of the enemy,
going
headlong backwards with the rays of morning.
Polyneices, their commander, roused them with windy phrases.
He, the wild eagle screaming, insults above our land.
His wings are shields of snow, his crests are marshalled helms.
Against the 7 gates in yawning ring,
Their famished spears came onward in the night.
But before his jaws were sated with our blood,
Or a pine fire to the garland of our towers.
He was thrown headlong back, and as he turned, great thieves
Rose like a dragon behind him,
Shouting war!
for God
Hates
hates utterly
utterly
the
With
brave,
their wagging tongues,
and
when he beheld their smiling, their swagger of golden helms,
his thunders thunder blasted.
their
the
first
first
man
from our walls,
We heard him shout triumph high in the air.
shouting far of a screaming fire.
he fell with his windy torch and the earth struck him. Others marched with fury no less than his.
7 captains at 7 gates.
yielded their clinging arm to the god.
These 2 only, brothers in blood,
Mirroring each other's death,
clashed in long combat, but in the morning of victory,
The
Let thieves
of
sing
men.
the joy.
with heart for dancing we'll take leave of war.
Our temple shall be sweet with hymns of praise.
and the long night shall echo with our chorus.
Oh, Antigone, how I have longed to see you.
Frightened me, I thought you were the guard.
If the guards were to lay a finger on you, I'd have their heads, for you are mine, Antigone, and mine alone.
Not yet, I'm not. I'm free as a bird. You know, don't you? About the news.
I have heard, yes. Why do you think that I am here?
No, my love, absolutely not. I will not have you help me in this. This is something I must do alone.
This is something you must do, but why must you do it alone?
The punishment would be far worse if you were to be found helping me.
Being without you is punishment enough. Antigone, I would die for you.
Come then, if you must. You cannot help me. Come, we're losing daylight.
now, at last, our new king is coming.
Creon
Creon
of
of
Thebes,
Thebes,
Mnesis' son.
In
this auspicious dawn of his reign, what are the new complexities that shifting fate has woven for him? What is his counsel? Why has he summoned the old men to hear him?
Gentlemen, I have the honor to inform you that our ship of state, which recent waters have threatened to destroy, has arrived safely at harbour at last, guided by the merciful wisdom of heaven. I have summoned you here this morning because I know I can depend upon you. Your devotion to King Laius was absolute. You never hesitated in your duties to our late ruler Oedipus. When Oedipus died, your loyalty transferred to his children. Unfortunately, as you know, his two sons, Eteocles and Polynices, have killed each other in battle, and I, as a next in blood, have succeeded to the full power of the throne. I am aware, of course, that no ruler can expect complete loyalty from his subjects until he has been tested in office. Nonetheless, I say to you from the very outset that I have nothing but contempt for the kind of governor who's afraid, for whatever reason, to do what he knows is best for the country. And as for the man who sets private friendship above the public welfare, I have no time for him either. I call God to witness, if I saw my country headed for ruin, I would not be afraid to speak out plainly. And I need hardly remind you that I'll have no dealings with an enemy of the state. No one values friendship more highly than I, but we must remember that friends made at risk of wrecking our ship are not real friends at all. These are my principles at any rate. And that is why I have made the following decision on the sons of Oedipus. Eteocles, who died as a man should, fighting for his country, shall be buried with full military honours and all the ceremony that is usual when the greatest heroes die. But his brother, Polynices, who broke his exile to come back with fire and sword against his native city and the shrines of his father's gods, whose one idea was to spill blood of his blood and sell his own people into slavery, Polynices, I say, gets no burial. No man is to touch him or say the least prayer for him. He is to lie on the plain unburied, and the birds and the scavenging dogs can do with him whatever they like. This is my command, and you can see the wisdom behind it. Whilst I am king, no traitor is going to be honoured with the loyal man. But the man who shows by word and deed that he is on the side of the state, he shall have my respect whilst he is living, and my reverence when he is dead.
If that is your will, Creon, son of Mnesis, you have the right to enforce it. We are yours.
We are yours.
That is my will. Take care that you do your part.
But we are too old. Have the younger ones carried out.
I do not mean that. The sentries have been appointed.
Then what is it that you would have us do?
You will show no support to whoever breaks the law.
Only a crazy man is in love with death.
And death it is. But money talks, and the wisest have sometimes been known to cut a few coins to many.
I'll say that I'm not a better winning king. Because every time I step back thinking about what I'm going to say, I go back. And all the time a voice kept saying, "You fool, don't you know you want yourself straight into trouble?" And another voice, "Yes, but he went somewhere else to tell you to Creon thus. It wasn't it for you." But good sense went out. I mean, I hope it was good sense. But here I am, restored, makes no sense at all, but I'll tell it anyhow. Because as they say, what's going to happens, and...
Come to the point, what have you to say?
I did not do it. I did not see who did it. You must not punish me for what someone else has done.
comprehensive defense. More effective, perhaps, if I knew its purpose. Come, what is it?
A dreadful thing. I don't know how
Out
to put
with it.
Well then. The dead man, Polonices. Out there, somewhere. New dust is slightly fresh. Sun has given a ball away and gone and
And the man who dared do this.
I swear I do not know. You must believe me. Listen, the ground was dry, no sign of digging, no real tracking of dust, no trace of anyone. It was when they were reading this morning. The corporal pointed to it. The strangers, there it was. Look, the body just lying over there with the white dust you see. Not buried really, just as they covered it. And just enough of a close piece. And there's no sign of any dog, any wild animal had been there. And there, what I seen there was every man of us accused one another. We all proved that we could not have done it. We all had proof that the other man could have done it. We were ready to walk through fire, swear by all the gods, it was not I. I don't know who it was, but it was not I. Then somebody said a thing that silenced all and made him look down at the ground. You had to be told the news and someone had to do it. We threw the dice and the bad luck fell to me. So here I am. No happy to have me. Nobody likes the man who brings bad news.
King, I've been leaning to think. Do you think the gods could have done this?
Stop! Must you doddering wrecks go out of your minds entirely? The gods. Intolerable. The gods favor this corpse. Why? How would he serve them? Try to loot their temples, burn their images, yes, and the whole state, and this law's with it. Is it your senile opinion that the gods love to honor bad men? A pious thought! No. From the very beginning, there have been those that have whispered against me. Stiff-necked anarchists, putting their heads together, scheming in alleys. These are the men. And they have bribed my own guard to do the thing. Find that man. Bring him here to me. For your death will be the least of your worries. I'll string you up alive, and you will find that there are ways to make you discover your employer before you die. And the process will teach you a lesson you seem to have missed. The dearest profits are sometimes all too dear. That depends on the source. Do you understand me? Fortunes won are often misfortunes.
King, may I speak?
Your very voice distresses me.
It is not what I say or what has been done that hurts you.
Oh, by God, he wants to analyze me now.
Are you sure it is my voice and not your conscience speaking?
You talk too much.
Maybe, but I've done nothing.
Sold your soul for some silver, that's all you've done.
How dreadful it is when the right judge judges wrong.
The play on words may entertain you now, but unless you find me that man, you get very little profit from them in the end.
Bring me the man. I like nothing in bringing him the man. But bring him or not, you have seen the last of me here. At any rate, I am safe.
Numberless are the world's wonders,
But none more wonderful than man.
The storm grey sea, yields to his prows.
The huge crests bear him high.
Earth,
Holy and inexhaustible
is graven with
the
his
shining
furrows, where his brows have gone.
year after year, the timeless labor of stallions.
The light-boned birds and beasts that cling to cover.
The lithe fish,
Shiting their reaches of dim water.
all are taken, tamed in the net of his mind. The lion on the hill, the wild horse windy maned, resigned to him, and his blunt yoke has broken the sultry shoulders of the mountain bull.
Words also as light and rapid as air.
He fashions to his good use, statecraft is his. And his, the skill that deflects the arrows of snow.
The spears of winter rains from every wind.
He has made himself secure from all but one.
In the light wind of death he cannot stand.
O clear intelligence, force beyond all measure, O fate of man working both good and evil. When the laws are kept, how proudly his city stands.
When the laws are broken, what of his city then? Never may the anarchic man
find rest at my hearth.
Never may it be said
that my thoughts are his
thoughts.
What does this mean?
Surely this captive woman is the Princess Antigone?
Why must she be taken?
Here is the woman. We caught her in the very act of buying them. Where is Cleon?
Just coming from the house.
What has happened? Why have you come back so soon?
Oh, King, a man would have sworn not to see me here again. Your anger frightened me so, and the things you threatened me with. But how can I tell then I was able to solve the case so soon? No dice falling this time. I was only too glad to come. Here is the woman. We caught her in the very act of buying them. Take her, then question her and judge her as you will. I am through with the whole thing and glad of it.
But this is Antigone. Why have you brought her here?
She was buying him, I tell you.
Is this the truth?
I saw her own eyes. Can I say more?
Come, the details. Tell me quickly.
It was like this. After all those terrible threats you came, we went back and brushed the dust away from the body. The flesh was softening now and stinking. So we sat on the hill windward and kept guard. No nothing happened to the white warm sun circled over us. And suddenly, a storm of dust rolled up from the air and the sky went out and the plain vanished all its trees in the stinging dark. We closed our eyes and endured it. The whirlwind lasted a long time, but it passed. And then we looked. And there was Antigone. I have seen a mother bird crying about a broken note or two, just so when the girl found the bare body and all her wealth walk wasted. She wept and cried on heaven that has done this damn thing. And she brought more dust. And she speckled it 3 more times for a was ghost. We ran and took it off at once. She was not afraid. Not even when we charged her what she has done. She denied nothing. And this was comfort to me, and some uneasiness. But it is a good thing to escape from death, but it is no great pleasure to bring death to a friend. Yet, I always say, there's nothing so comfortable in your safe own skin.
And you, Antigone, you with your head hanging. Do you confess this thing?
I do. I deny nothing.
You may go. Tell me briefly. Had you heard my proclamation touching the matter?
It was public. Could I help hearing it?
And yet you dared to break the law.
I did. It was not God's proclamation. That final justice that rules the world down below holds no such laws. Your edict, King, was strong. But all your strength is a weakness itself against the immortal, unrecorded laws of God. They're not merely now. They are and shall be operative forever, beyond man utterly. And I knew I must die, even without your decree. And if I must die now, before it is my time to die, surely this is of no hardship to me. Can anyone, living as I live, with evil all about me, find death less than a friend? This death of mine is of no importance, but if I had left my brother lying in death unburied, I should have suffered. Now I do not. You smile at me. Creon, think me a fool if you like, but it may well be that a fool convicts me of folly!
Like father, like daughter.
Both headstrong and deaf to reason.
She has never learned to yield.
Oh, she has much to learn. The inflexible heart breaks first. The toughest iron cracks first. And the wildest horses bend their necks to the pull of the smallest curb. Pride in a slave. This girl is guilty of a double insolence, breaking the given laws and then boasting about it. Who is the man here? She or I, if I let this crime go unpunished? Sister's child, or more than sister's child, or closer yet in blood. She and her sister win bitter death for this. Go! Some of you arrest this meanie. I accuse her equally of this. You'll find her sniffling in the house there. Her mind's a traitor. Crimes kept in the dark cry for the light, and the guardian brain shudders. But so much worse than this is brazen boasting of bare-faced anarchy.
Creon, what more could you possibly want than my death?
Nothing. That gives me everything.
Then, I beg you, kill me! Your words are distasteful to me, and I'm sure mine seem so to you. And yet they should not seem so. I should have praise and honour for what I have done. All these men here would agree with me were their tongues not frozen shut in fear of you.
You are the only one with that opinion.
No, they are with me, but their tongues are in leash.
Maybe. But you are guilty and they are not.
There is no guilt in reverence for the dead.
But Atocles, was he not your brother too?
My brother too.
And you insult his memory?
The dead man would not say that I insult it.
He would. For you honour a traitor just as much as him.
His own brother, traitor or not, and equal in blood.
He brought war to this country. Atocles defended it.
Even still, there are honours due all the dead.
Never the same for the wicked as for the just.
Creon, which of us can say what the gods hold wicked?
An enemy is an enemy, even dead.
It's my nature to join in love, not hate.
Go join them, then. If you must have your love, find it in hell.
But see, as many comes.
Those tears are Sicily, the cloud that shudders from eyes, rains down gentle sorrow.
You too, is meanie. Snake in my house, sucking my blood stealthily. And all this time I never knew these two sisters were aiming at my throne. Tell me, do you confess your share in this crime or do you deny it? Answer me.
Yes. If she would let me say so, I am guilty.
No. I will not allow you to. You would not help me, and I will not have you help me now.
But now I know what you mean. And I'm here to join you. I'm here to take my share of punishment.
The dead man, and those who rule the dead, know whose actions these were. Words are not friends.
Do you deny me, Antigone? I want to die with you.
You will not lessen my death by sharing it.
Well, what do I give for life when you are dead?
Ask Creon. You're always hanging on his opinions.
You're laughing at me, Antigone. Why?
This is a joyless laughter, it's me.
But can I do nothing?
Yes, save yourself. There are those that will praise you. I shall have honour too.
But we're equally guilty.
No more, Ismene. No more. You are alive. You are alive. But I belong to death.
Gentlemen, I beg you to observe these two girls. One has now just lost her mind. Another seems never had a mind at all.
Grief teaches the steadiest minds to waver, king.
You're certainly dead. When you chose to gild with the guilty.
But how could I live without her?
You are. She is already dead.
For your own son's bride.
There are places enough for him to push his plough. I'll have no wicked women for my sons.
Oh, dearest Tamon, how your father has wronged you.
I grow tired of your childish talks of marriage.
Do you really intend to steal this girl from your son?
No! Death will do that for me.
And she must die.
You dazzle me. But enough of this talk. You there! Take them away and guard them well. For they are but women, and even brave men run when they see death coming.
Fortunate is the man who has never tasted
God's vengeance, where once the anger of heaven has struck.
The house is shaken.
Forever.
Damnation rises behind each child.
I have seen the darkness under the sea roar up.
Like a wave cresting out of the black northeast.
and burst strumming death upon the wind-wet sand.
I've seen this
gathering
gathering
of
of
soul from Oedipus' wine.
loom upon Oedipus' children.
Generation from generation.
Takes the compulsive rage of the enemy god.
So wait me this last flower of Oedipus' flower.
Drank the sunlight.
But now a passionate word
And a handful of dust have closed up all its beauty.
What mortal arrogance transcends the wrath of Zeus?
Sleep cannot lull him, nor the effortless long months of timeless gods.
But he is young forever.
And the house is the shining day of high Olympus.
All that is,
And shall be,
and all the past,
is his.
No pride on earth is free from the curse of heaven.
The straying dreams of men may bring them ghosts of joy, but
And
as they drowse, the waking embers burn them.
Or they walk with fixed
as
eyes.
blind men walk.
But the ancient wisdom speaks.
For their own time.
Fate works most for woe,
with
with
folly's
body's
fairest
show.
show.
Man's little pleasure is the spring of sorrow.
Is it grief for Antigone that brings him here? Or the bitterness of losing his bride?
Mother! This cannot stand! You must change your mind. For me, mother, I beg you.
have to stop this.
Yep.
I may be a queen, but I am a wife first. The duties of a wife are sacred.
What about your duties to this kingdom? Or me, your son? Might I remind you, your only son.
You wish to discuss duties. You think you can imagine this loss?
Imagine it. I'm living it. First my brother, and now you're trying to take away my fiancée, Antigone. Your future queen.
You've always been so stubborn. Ever since you were a little boy, playing with your brother. He stole your sword once, I remember. The wailing cries. But you found another, and you were just as lucky.
Why must you bring this up, mother? I can't simply be with another. Antigone is the one and should sit with me on the throne.
Son, I've heard my final judgment on that girl. Have you come here hating me? Or do you come with love and deference for whatever I do?
I am your son, brother. You are my guide. You make things clear for me and I obey you. No marriage is more important to me than your continuing wisdom.
Good. That is a way to be subordinate. Everything else, my son, to your father's will. This is what a man prays for. That he may get sons attentive and dutiful in his house, hating his father's enemies, honouring his father's friends. But if his sons fail him, if they turn out unprofitably, what has he fathered but trouble for himself and amusement for the malicious? So you are right not to lose your head over that woman. Your pleasure with her would soon grow cold, Haman. And then you'd have a wildcat in bed and elsewhere. Let her find a husband in hell. Of all the people in this city, only she has had contempt for my law and broken it. Do you want me to show myself weak before the people? Or to break my sworn word? No. And I will not. The woman dies. I suppose she'll plead family relations. Well, let her. If I permit my own family to rebel, how shall I earn the world's obedience? I'll have no dealings with lawbreakers, critics of the government. Whoever is chosen to rule should be obeyed, must be obeyed in all things, great and small, just and unjust. Oh, Haman. The man who knows how to follow orders, and that man only, knows how to give commands when the time comes. You can depend on him, no matter how fast the spears come. He'll stick them out. He's a good soldier. Anarchy? Anarchy. Show me a greater evil. This is why cities tumble and the great family names rain down. This is what scatters armies. No, no. Good lives are made so by discipline. We keep the laws then, and the lawmakers, and no woman shall seduce us. If we must lose, let's lose to a man at least. Is a woman stronger than we?
Father, reason is God's crowning gift to man, and you are right. You are right to warn me against losing mine. I cannot say. Well, I hope she'll never want to say that you have reasoned badly, but there are other men who can reason too, and their opinions might be helpful. You are not in a position to know everything that people say or do or what they feel. Your temper terrifies them. Everyone will tell you only what you like to hear. But I, at any rate, can listen. And I've heard them muttering and whispering in the dark about this girl. They say, never has a woman so unreasonably died so shameful a death for a generous act. She covered her dead brother's body. Is this indecent? She kept him from the dogs and the vultures. Is this a crime? Death! We should give her all the honours that we can give her. This is the way they talk about her in the city. You must believe me. Nothing is closer to me than your happiness. What could be closer? Must not any son value his father's fortune as his father does his? I beg you, do not be unchangeable. Do not believe that you alone can be right. The man who thinks that, the man who maintains that he alone has the power to reason correctly, the gift to speak to soul, a man like that, when you know him, turns out empty. It's not reason never to yield to reason! Oh. In flood time, you can see how some trees bend. And because they bend, even their twigs are safe. While stubborn trees are torn up, roots and all. The same thing happens in sailing. Make your sheets fast, never slacken, and over you go. Head over heels and under, and there's your voyage. Forget you are angry. Let yourself be moved that I know I am young. I know I am young. But please, let me say this. Yes, it would be the ideal condition that men should be right by instinct. But since we are too likely to be led astray, the reasonable thing would be to listen to those who can teach.
You both speak well, King.
If what he says is sensible, and you, Heman, must listen to your father, both speak well.
You think it right for a man of my years and experience to go to school? To a boy?
It is not right if I am wrong, but if I'm young and right, what does my age matter?
You think it right to stand up for an anarchist?
No! Not at all. I pay no respect to criminals.
Then she is not a criminal.
The city proposes to teach me how to teach.
And the city proposes to teach me how to row.
Ah, now we were talking like a boy.
My voice is a one voice giving orders in the city.
It is not a city if it takes orders from one voice.
The state is the king.
Yes! If the state is a desert! Oh.
This boy, it seems, has sold out to a woman.
If you are a woman, my concern is only for you.
So, your concern in a public brawl with your father.
How about you in a public brawl with justice?
With justice. When all that I do is within my rights.
You have no right to trample on God's right.
Fool! Adolescent fool! Taken in by a woman.
You will never see me taken in by anything vile.
Every word you say is for her.
And for you. And for me. And for the gods beneath the earth.
You will not marry her while she is living.
Then she must die. But her death will cause another.
Another? Have you lost your senses? Is this an open threat?
There is no threat in speaking to emptiness.
I swear you'll come to regret your superior tone. You are the empty one.
If you were not my father, I'd say you were perverse.
You girl-struck fool! Don't play at words with me.
I'm sorry, you prefer silence.
Oh my God. I swear, by all the gods in heaven above us, you'll watch it. I swear you shall. Bring her out. Bring the woman out. Let her die in front of him. Here, this instant, with her bridegroom beside her.
Not here, no! She will not die here, King! And you would never see my face again! Go on raving, as long as you have a friend to enjoy you!
Gone. Creon, a young man in rage is dangerous.
Let him do, or dream to do, what a man can. He will not save those girls from death.
Those girls?
No, you're right. I will not kill the one whose hands are clean. But as for Antigone, I will carry her far away out there in the wilderness and seal her in a vault of stone. She shall have food, as the custom is, to absolve the state of her death. And there, let her pray to the gods of hell. They are her only gods now. Perhaps they will show her a way to escape death. Or maybe she'll learn, though late, that piety shown the dead is pity in vain.
Love, unconquerable.
Waster of rich men,
Keeper of warm light.
And all night vigil.
in the soft face of a girl,
Sea wanderer,
forest visitor,
Even the pure immortals cannot escape you.
and a mortal man in the one day's dusk
trembles before your glory.
Surely you swerve upon ruin, the just man's consenting heart. As here you have made bright anger,
Strike between father and son, and none has conquered but love.
a girl's glance, working the will of heaven, pleasure to her alone, and who mock us, merciless Aphrodite. But I can no longer stand in awe of this, nor see what I see. Keep back my tears. Here is Antigone passing through the chamber where we all find sleep at last.
Look upon me, friends, and pity me. Turning back at the night's edge to say goodbye to the sun that shines for me no longer. My sleepy death summons me down to Acheron, that sleepy shore. There's no bright song there, nor any music.
Yet not unpraised, not without any kind of honour. You walk at last into the underworld, untouched by sickness, broken by no sword. What woman has ever found your way to death?
How often I have heard the story of Niobe, Tantalus's wretched daughter. How the stone clung fast about her ivy close. And they say the rain falls endlessly, rifting soft snow. Her tears are never done. I feel the loneliness of her death in mine.
But she was heaven born, woman heaven born, and you are a woman. So is this death not for you? Glory to the
our
world.
and in the world beyond.
You laugh at me. Friends. Friends, can you not wait until I am dead? Oh, Thebes. Oh, men, many charioted in love with fortune. Sweet spring of dirge, sacred Theban grove, be witnesses to me. Denied all pity, unjustly judged. and think a word of love for her whose path turns dark under cold air, for there are no more tears.
You have passed beyond human daring and come at last into a place of stone where justice sits, I cannot tell.
What shape of your father's guilt appears in this?
You have touched it. At last. That bridal bed. Unspeakable horror of mother and son mingling. Oedipus, father and brother. Your marriage strikes from the grave to murder main. I have been a stranger here in my own lands. All of my life, the blasphemy of my birth has followed me.
Reverence is a virtue, but strength lives in established law that must prevail.
You have made your choice.
Your death is the doing of your conscious hand.
Let me go then. Since your words are cold to me, the very light of the sun is cold to me. Lead me to my vigil, where I'm to have no love nor lamentation, no song but silence.
If dirges and lamentations could put off death, men would be singing forever. Take her. Go. You know your orders. Take her to the vault and leave her there alone. Whether she lives or dies is her affair, not ours. Our hands are clean.
Tim, vaulted bride bed in eternal rock. Soon I shall be with my own again, where Persephone welcomes the thin ghost underground, and I shall see my father again. And you, mother, and dearest Polynices, dearest indeed, since it was my hand that washed him clean and poured the ritual wine, and my reward is a death before my time. And yet as man's hearts know, I have done no wrong, I have not sinned before God, or if I have, I shall know the truth in death. But if the guilt should lie with you, Creon, who judged me, then I pray that your punishment equals my own.
O passionate heart, unyielding, tormented still by the same winds.
The guards will have good cause to regret their delaying.
Creon, yours are the words of death.
I can give you no reason to think otherwise.
Thebes, and you, my father's gods, and rulers of Thebes. You see me now, the last unhappy daughter of a great line of kings. Kings, your kings, led away to death. You will remember what things I suffer, and at whose hands, because I would not transgress the laws of heaven. Come! Let us wait no longer.
All Danae's beauty was locked away in a brazen cell where the sunlight could not reach.
A small room stood as any grave,
Enclosed
enclosed her.
Yet she was a princess too.
And Zeus in a rain of gold poured love upon her. O child, child!
No power in wealth or war,
Or toughened sea blackened ship can prevail against untiring destiny.
And Dryas' son also, that furious king.
And bore the god prisoner for his anger.
sealed up by Dionysus in death stone.
His madness died among echoes. So
To
at
the
the
last he learned what dreadful power his tongue had mocked.
For he had profaned the revels.
And fired the wrath of the nine.
Implacable sisters
that love
Made
the
stand
sound
of the fruits.
And old men tell a half-remembered tale of horror done where a dark ledge splits the sea, and a double surf beats on the grey shores. How a king's new woman,
Sick
with
hatred for the queen
he has
in
imprisoned,
prison, ripped out of his own 2 sons' eyes with her bloody hands, while grimming Ares watched as the shuttle plunged.
4 times.
4 blind wounds.
crying for revenge, crying tears and blood mingled, piously born, those sons whose mother was of heavenly birth.
Her father was a god of the north wind. She was cradled by gales.
She raced with young colts on the glittering hills and walked untrammeled in the open light.
But
in
in
her
her
marriage,
marriage,
deathless
fate
found
means to build a tomb
like the
used to
father.
alter joy.
This is the way the blind man comes. Princes, princesses, lockstep, 2 heads lit by the eyes of one.
What new things have you to tell us, old Tiresias?
I have much to tell you, Creon. Only listen to the prophet.
I admit my debt to you. What have you to say?
Listen, Creon. I was sitting in my chair of augury, at the place where the birds gather about me. They were all a chatter, as is their habit. When suddenly I heard a strange jangling in their note. A scream, a whirring fury. They were fighting, tearing each other, dying in a whirlwind of wings clashing. And I was afraid. I began the rites of burnt offering at the altar, but Festus failed me. Instead of a bright flame, there was only the sputtering slime of the fat thigh flesh, melting. The entrails dissolved in grey smoke and no blaze! This was a sign from heaven. The boy described it for me, seeing for me as I see for others. You have brought this new calamity upon us. The hearths and altars are stained with the corruption of dogs and carrion birds that glut themselves on the corpse of Oedipus's son. The gods are deaf and great. Their fire recoils at our offerings. They are birds of omen have no cry of comfort, for they are gorged with the thick blood of the dead. Oh, my son, these are no trifles thing. All men make mistakes, but a good man yields when he knows his course is wrong and repairs the evil. The only crime is pride. Given to the dead man then, don't think of corpse. What good is it to kill a man who is dead? Think! I beg you, it is for your own good that I speak as I do. You should be able to yield. For your own good.
It seems that prophets have made me their especial province. All my life long I have been a sort of butt to the dull arrows of doddering fortune tellers. No, Tiresias. If your birds, if the great eagles of God himself came down and carried him stinking bit by bit, I would not yield. I am not afraid of pollution. No man can defile the gods. Do what you will. Go into business, speculate in Indian gold or that synthetic gold from Sardis. Get rich otherwise than by my consent to bury him. Tiresias. It is a sad thing when a wise man sells his wisdom, lets out his words for hire.
Creon, is there no man left in this world
To
that...
do what? Come, let's have an aphorism.
No man who knows that wisdom outweighs any wealth.
As surely as brass is baser than any baseness.
You're sick, Creon! You're deathly sick!
As you say, it is not my place to argue with a prophet.
And yet you said my prophecy is for sale.
The generation of prophets have always loved gold.
The generation of kings has always loved brass!
You forget yourself. I am your king.
Yes. I know it. You are king because of me.
You have a skill, but you have sold out.
You will drive me to words that
Say them. Say them. Only remember, I will not pay you for them.
No. You will find them too costly.
No doubt. Speak whatever you say, you will not change my will.
Then take this and take it to heart. The time is not far off when you shall pay back corpse for corpse, flesh of your own flesh. You have thrust the child of this world into living night. You have kept from the gods below the child that is theirs. The girl in the grave before her death, the other dead. Denied the grave. This is your crime, Creon, and the furies and the dark gods of hell are swift with terrible punishment for you. Do you wish to buy me now? Not many days, and your house shall be full of men and women weeping. Curses will be hurled at you from afar. Cities grieving for sons unburied, left to rot at the walls of Thebes. These are my arrows, Creon. And they're all for you. Come, child. Lead me home. Let him waste his fine anger upon younger men. Perhaps, at last, he will learn to control a wiser tongue and a better head.
The old man is gone, king, but his words remain to plague us. I am old too, but I cannot remember when he was ever wrong.
That is true. It troubles me.
Creon, take my advice.
What would you have me do?
Go quickly, free Antigone from her vault, and build a tomb for the body of Polynices.
You would have me do this?
Creon,
Creon,
yes.
yes.
And it must be done at once. God moves swiftly to cancel the folly of stubborn men.
I will do it. I will not fight with destiny.
You must go yourself.
Uh,
You cannot leave it to others.
I will do it. Bring axes, servants. Come with me to the vault. I buried her. I shall set her free. Oh, quickly! My mind misgives. The laws of the gods are eternal, and it is a duty of all men to follow them to the last day.
God of many names, O Aeacus, son of Cadmean Semele,
O born of the thunder, guardian of the west, regent of Eleusis' plain,
O prince main thieves, and the dragon view of the weapon as Ismenius.
God of many names,
the flares of torches, flares on their hills.
the nymphs of Iolcos dance at the spring of Castalia from the vine-closed mountain.
Come in, ivy, evil he, sing through the streets of Thebes, god of many names.
Aeacus of Thebes, heavenly child of Semele, bride of the Thunderer.
The shadow of plague is upon us. Come with clement feet.
O come from Paranos, down the one slopes, across the lamenting towards war.
Io fire, chorister of the throbbing stars,
O purest among the voices of the night, thou Son of God, blaze for us.
come with choric rapture, circling with Minas, who cry, Io, Ioke,
God of many names.
Men of the line of Cadmos, those who live near Anfield Citadel. I cannot speak on the condition of human life. This is clearly good, this is clearly bad. Fate rises up, and fate casts down the unhappy and happy alike. Take the case of Creon. He was happy once as I can recount happiness. So governor of his land, father's children nobly born. But it's gone from him now. He's but a shadow in that grand house of his, a shadow for all he owns.
Your words hint at sorrow. What is your news for us?
They are dead.
Who is dead? Who is dead? Who is guilty? Speak.
Haman. Haman is dead. And the hand that murdered him is his own.
Tiresias, how clearly you saw it all.
Is that Eurydice I hear?
But look, Eurydice, our queen, has she overheard us?
I have heard something, my friends. As I was unlocking the gate of the palace shrine, for I needed her help today. And I heard a voice telling of some new sorrow. I fainted there at the temple with all my maidens about me. Speak again, whatever it is, I can bear it. Grief and I are no stranger.
My dearest lady, I will not try to comfort you. Comfort can only lie in what is not true. And the truth is always best. I went with Creon to the plain where Apologise was lying. I joined him in bathing the body in holy water. We bundled sticks and burnt the body and pumped the ash round of his land. And as we went to where Antigone was lying on her couch of stone, suddenly the air it filled with wailing, and Creon told us to make haste. Is this some cruel deception of the gods? Or is that my son's voice that calls to me? Look through that crevice there. And tell me, does my son lay with her? She had made a noose of her fine linen veil, and she hung herself. And Haman lay his hands around her waist, lamenting her. And as Creon stepped forward, he looked in his son's eyes and said, "Oh, my son, what has happened that makes your eyes so strange to me?" Haman said not a word, but spat in his face and lunged forward, blade in hand. Creon shrank back. But by the time any of us had realized what had happened, Haman had plunged the sword half its length into his side. And as he coughed up blood, crimson on Antigone's white cheek, he let out a curse for his father. At least they are bridegroom and bride in death.
She's left us without a word. What can this mean?
I do not know. I know what she knows is best. She is, no doubt, in grieving. To leave her maidens in hysterics.
It may be so, but I fear this deep silence.
I will go see what she's doing.
But here is the king himself.
Oh,
Look at him, bearing his own damnation in his arms.
Nothing you say can touch me anymore. My blind heart has led me from darkness to final darkness. Here you see the father murdering the murdered son. And all my civic wisdom. Haman, my son, so young to die. I was the fool, not you. And you died for me.
That is the truth, but you are late in learning it.
This truth that's hard to bear. It seems that God has crushed me beneath the heaviest weight of heaven and driven me headlong a barbaric path to trample out all that I held most dear. The pain that men will take to come to pain.
You will find more pain in your house.
What burden worse than this shall I find there?
The queen is dead.
Oh, port of fate, death. Deaf world. Is there no pity for me? And you, Angel of death, I was dead, and your words are death again. Is it true, boy? Can it be true? Is my wife dead?
She took the blade. Her own hand guided into her heart. Her last cries, a shout for Megaris's dead. Her sons dead! The last word she uttered was a curse for their father, the murderer of her sons.
It is right that it should be. I alone am to blame. I know it, I say it. Lead me away. Quickly. Friends. I have neither life nor substance. Lead me away.
You were right.
If
And
there can be right and so much
wrong.
the
The
briefest way is best in a world of
Sorrow.
Let it come. Let death come and be kind to me. I would not ever see the sun again.
All that will come when it will, but we meanwhile have much to do. Leave the future to itself.
I poured my whole heart into that prayer.
Then do not pray anymore. The sky is deal.
Lead me away. I have been rash and foolish. I have murdered my wife and my son. I look for comfort. My comfort lies here dead. Everything that I've put my hand to has come to nothing. Pride is gone. Fate is ensured it is nothing but a whisper of dust.
There is no happiness where there is no wisdom. No wisdom but in submission.
To the gods.
Big words are always punished, and proud men in old age learn to be wise.